The main message coming out of the tracker is that industry transition has started, but it needs to accelerate rapidly. The good news is that we've seen a wave of project announcements, which means that companies are moving from targets and commitments to project identification. In fact, we've seen almost 70% of the 2030 targets now at announcement stage across the 7 sectors. The key question is then how we get those to final investment decision within the next 3 years so that projects can be up and running at full-scale operations by 2030. We know that not all project announcements will make it there, so the focus really needs to be now on shifting almost 600 projects to that crucial FID stage. The tracker clearly shows that urgent action is needed to bring these 7 hard-to-abate sectors through to FID in the next few years. And there's a lot to learn from sectors where we have seen some positive momentum. For example, the aviation sector, where SAF blending mandates in the EU and subsidy schemes in the US have driven that shift from projects being announced through to FID and operational. In fact, 15% of the target has now passed FID, which is an improvement on what we've seen in the last years. On the other end of the scale, there's also been a huge wave of project announcements. Green ammonia particularly stands out. And the question now is, in getting those projects to FID, how can we secure the transparency needed around offtake, particularly from sectors such as shipping as well as fertilizer, to bring down the green premium and give the market confidence and de-risk that financing decision. We hope that by highlighting where there is progress, but also where there are gaps, this provides a call to action for the industry, for investors, for policymakers to align on solutions to close those gaps. And we're seeing some of those innovative, collaborative solutions take effect. For example, the emergence of public-private financing initiatives, which are helping to drive down the risk on some of those more nascent technologies. For example, inert anodes in the aluminium value chain in Canada. Another example is where we're seeing industries align around shared infrastructure and across the value chain to bring down the green premium. A great example of this is the Transatlantic Clean Hydrogen Trade Coalition between Rotterdam and Houston, unlocking that critical green shipping corridor. But also the emergence of hydrogen hubs that we're seeing in Southern Africa, as well as in Latin America, such as the port of Pecém in Brazil. We will be updating the tracker on a quarterly basis and hope to receive comments and feedback from industry, policy, investors around additional projects that should be included or other ways that we might be able to improve it and make it a really useful tool. Alongside this, we'll also be sharing insights, so we'll be going deeper into some of those drivers and barriers to FID and uncovering what that means for different audiences. So really, we encourage you to use this tool both to get an overview of the pipeline status and see how we're progressing towards those 2030 milestones, but also to use it as a decision-making tool to look at project identification, potential partners to align with, look at trends in different geographies, and really use it to inform the decisions that are needed in the coming months to unlock that critical mass of projects.